To get started, you want to take your button and you want to take your two shortest cords and thread those onto the button. So I'm going to thread one cord at one side of the button and the other at the other side. So once I've threaded the first one, I'm going to get the buttonholes I haven't used and thread the other cord at the other side. And then once both cords are threaded on, I want to pull out about a foot at one end just so you can clip this to the board, because you're going to be working with the longest tail ends. And next you want to take one of your coloured cords and you want to thread these the same way as you threaded your main colour. So you're going to put it through one side and then out the other. But for your longest cords, when you pull it through, you want to equal it out at both ends, so you can match up the ends and then just pull your button until it's in the centre. And you want to do this for both colour cords. Then I'm going to do the other colour at the other side. So once you've threaded on all your cords, you can attach your button to the top of your board. And then you want to put your colour cords in order. So I'm going to take one colour for one side. And then I want to take the other colour at the other side. So you should end up with a long cord and a short cord for the centre at each side. So you want one of your shortest cords at one side, one of your shortest cords at the other side, and then one of your longest cords at each side. So once you've separated your two sections, you want to put one section out of the way and just work with the other section to begin with. So you want to take your shortest cord, and that's always going to be clipped to the board, and then you want to take one of your other colours so that can be attached to the board. And then you're going to be working with your remaining cords. So to get started, you want to do square knots. So you're going to be going over, over and through. And then you want to go under, under and through. So I'm going to do 5 of these, but you can do more or less if you want, but less might be a bit tricky to do, but you could definitely do more if you preferred. So once you've done one side, you can unclip this from the board, and you can put this section out of the way and do the same thing with the other section. So once you've done both sections, you should have something that looks like this. So now you're going to take all your cords in the centre and leave one out at each side, and it should be one background colour and one side colour. And then you can clip all of these to the bottom of the board, and then you have to do a couple of square knots over all your central cords. And then you can unclip these from the bottom of the board, and then for the second part of your pattern you're going to be doing what you did there, but you're switching the colours to the other side. So your white cords can stay in the same position, but whichever colour you did on the outside, this side wants to switch over to this side. And the colours from this side want to switch to this side. And I try to do this so that these cords go over the top. But you can do this however it feels the neatest. And then you want to return to what you did there, but you do in the opposite colour. So you want to clip these cords to the board and leave these out of the way, and then work your square knots again. And once you've done this side, you can unclip these, and then you want to do the same thing at this side. So once you've got the same amount of knots at each side, you can unclip these from the board, and if you need to adjust anything here, you can hold these cords and just gently push these knots up a bit so that your ends are equally matched. And then you want to take the outside cord here and the outside cord here, and this should be background and this should be side colour, and then clip the rest to the bottom of the board. And then, like you did before, you're going to do a couple of square knots to fasten them together. And once you've done that, you want to repeat what you did there to switch the colour over to the other side, but this time obviously you're going to switch in green back to its original position. And you want to keep repeating these steps until you've done the bracelet as long as you want it to be. So once you've got the bracelet as long as you want it, you should end up with something that looks like this. So I'm going to do an extra half of a square knot at the bottom while I'm sealing it both sides, because I want this colour to be at this side as it would normally have gone across. Then you can unclip your cords from the bottom of the board, and then you want to take half at one side, and you want to take half at the other side. And then keeping one of your cords out, you can clip the other half to the bottom of the board, and you're going to create the buttonhole by going over and through, and then under and through. And you're going to do this until you've got a space large enough for your button. So how many knots you do will depend on the size of your button, so it's a good idea to measure as you go along. And you want to do the same thing at the other side. So once you've done both sides, you can remove your clip, and then you want to take all these central cords and leave these two out and clip these to the bottom of the board. And then you want to close your buttonhole with a couple of square knots. So once you've done that, you can remove your bracelet from the board. You want to trim and seal any tail ends. So I'm going to use a lighter to seal here, but you could use glue if you preferred. And once you're done, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now you just want to try on your bracelet. And that is your completed macrame bracelet.